Welcome to Session 1 of the strategy course. Session 1 will focus on defining the subject matter of strategy. In their book, Exploring Corporate Strategy, two gentlemen, Messrs. Johnson and Scholes, define strategy as follows. They said that strategy is the direction as well as the scope of an organization over the long term in order to achieve an advantage for that same organization through its unique use of resources and operating within a challenging environment in order to meet the needs of the market as well as to fulfill stakeholder expectation. Ladies and gentlemen, in the course of this definition, there are a number of critical words and phrases that will bring this subject matter of strategy to life. So what I have done is to underline and emphasize those critical words and phrases. And I'd like to go through them one by one and very, very quickly expand on them so that you start to see that this strategy subject matter is not an abstract one. It is one that has direct relevance on what you do as an entrepreneur. And irrespective of where you are on your entrepreneurial journey, either one that is already running a business or one that is thinking about starting a business, it all is about strategy. Your strategy is what will define the degree and the level of success or otherwise that your business or your institution or your organization will achieve. So what is the first of those critical keywords and phrases inside of this definition? The first one is organization. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, as you build a business, your objective, your gold standard should be creating or developing an organization, something that runs, an entity that runs independent of you. So I recognize that most of us, most businesses, even the most successful businesses all over the world, they typically start as an idea of one or two people coming together. So you will not have all of the structure, you will not have all of the systems, you will not have all of the processes from day one. But it is important that you set for yourself an objective of developing your business over time. So you will typically start, like most of us, as a sole proprietorship or an entrepreneurship. Then as you start to put structure into your business, so when I say structure, I mean legal incorporation. So you formally set up your business. Then you also need to introduce systems. What do you mean by systems? Systems are a body of processes that help your business run independent of you. So it means that you can take a vacation and your business is still running. It means that you have people that you can delegate authority to and they will run the business as well as you, or even better, they will engage with your clients with the same type of quality and excellent customer service that you are known for. They will ensure that you deliver quality on a regular as well as on a consistent basis. So ladies and gentlemen, the first critical phrase inside of this definition is the word organization. Let that be a goal for yourself. The second critical word or phrase inside of this our definition is long term. So ladies and gentlemen, in this entrepreneurial journey, you are not running a business for 6 months or 1 year or 2 years. You are looking to build a business that will outlive you. Lucky people that invent something that has never existed in the world, and you are able to get what you may call intellectual property. You can get legal protection over your intellectual property rights. So let's assume you invent something that never existed before. Go and get a patent. There is something called a patent. That is legal protection. If you get a patent in Nigeria, you will have 20 years of no competition. The law will give you protection for a period of 20 years that nobody can compete with you in recognition of this great innovation, this great idea that you brought into existence that did not exist before. So except you are one of those lucky people who created something that never existed before, you are very likely going to have to deal with competition on a daily basis. And guess what? We run a free market economy, which means free entry and free exit. So it means that somebody can come and set up a business doing exactly the same thing you are doing and situate themselves right across the road from you or next door to you. You have no legal right to stop anybody from doing exactly what you are doing. So it means that competition is real. So it therefore means, what are those things you can do or that you must do to give yourself a source of competitive advantage, something that puts you above competition? And there are two principal sources of competitive advantage. Number one is pricing. Your strategy could be, you know what? I am going to run an efficient process. I'm going to automate my processes to make sure that my cost of production is as low as possible. So as a result of automation, as a result of the infusion of technology into your business, you may be able to produce at a lower cost than your competitors in the market. So it means you can sell your product at a lower price and hopefully gain a significant market share. But there is the other spectrum to pricing. You can decide that you want to be a premium brand. You can decide you want to be a premium brand. A Rolex watch sells for in excess of 10,000 pounds sterling. 10,000 pounds sterling. That's 5 million or 5.5 million naira in a current exchange rate. Reality, somebody else makes a swatch. A swatch will sell for $60 or 70 pounds, and somebody else operating in the same place. So bottom line is, on the pricing spectrum, you can decide that you want to play at the lower end, which is targeting the mass market, or you can decide you want to be a premium brand, which means that your market is narrower, but you are selling highly priced premium products. It's another simple example can be your typical aircraft. Your aircraft has maybe 300 seats. About 250 of those seats are economy class, and the rest, the remaining 50, are business as well as first class seats, right? The pricing of those 50 premium seats can more than compensate for the 250 economy class tickets. So bottom line, choose where you want to play. Your second critical source of competitive advantage, ladies and gentlemen, is differentiation, and this is the one I really like. Because pricing, somebody else can come in tomorrow. Somebody can be more efficient than you are. Somebody can discover new ways of producing that good or service at a lower price than you are delivering it. And suddenly your customers will migrate to that person. But if you embark on differentiation as your principal source of competitive advantage, then it gives you something that other people do not have, because you are putting your own personal input, your imprint, your own DNA, your own life view and philosophy onto your business. So I like the idea of differentiation. It gives you what they call a unique selling proposition. It gives you what they call a unique selling proposition. What is that thing you do differently? How do you bring your own flair, your own DNA into what you do? How do you create technology that supports you and gives you that critical source of competitive advantage? Number 4, in our definition of strategy, remember we're still at the definition stage of strategy. I defined it, then I started to extract some critical words and phrases that bring to life the subject matter of strategy. So the fourth critical word or phrase is resources. And for you as an entrepreneur, your job, how you earn your salary is as a result of how effectively you are able to manage resources. And what are these resources, if you may ask? Number 1 is your human resource. Number 2 is your material resource. Number 3, very critical, is your financial resource. So your job as an entrepreneur is to be able to manage all of these things. And of all the ones I mentioned, your human resource is the most important, because if you do not get the right people who can buy into your vision, who can buy into your worldview, who can add value to what you are doing inside of your business, then your business will struggle. Because as your business starts to grow, it gets to a point where you can no longer do everything by yourself. So today you may be the one that you are running as chairman, chief executive, chief marketing officer, chief technical officer. But at some point in time, as the business grows, you will realize that you do not have the physical capacity to grow the business all by yourself. At that point, you will add somebody else. As it grows further, you add another person. And that is how, before you know it, you have a huge number of human capital or personnel that are working with you. How do you ensure you get the right people? So it means that you must determine who is the ideal person to work inside of your business? What are the traits they must have in terms of skill, even in terms of the softer issues such as personality? If your business is one that interfaces with customers directly, then you want somebody with a pleasant disposition. The person may be excellent technically, but if they do not have the right disposition, if they don't have that interpersonal skills, if they cannot relate to your people on a human level or to your customers on a human level, then most likely you will lose business to another business who's offering excellent customer services. So get the people right. Number two, material resources. What are these? I'm talking about the tools that you need to deliver excellent and efficient service or product delivery. If you are a manufacturer of tangible product, it is the material resource, the equipment, the machinery, the innovation that you use that will ensure that you deliver the same type of product at the highest possible quality on a consistent basis. So over the next 10 years, your bottle of Coca-Cola must always have the same taste. It cannot taste in a particular way in 2019. Then in 2025, Coca-Cola has the same Coca-Cola now has a different taste. So there must be consistency. So get the material resource correct. Then finally, financial resources. Every business requires capital, right? The first source of capital is your own personal savings, maybe money that comes from family and friends, maybe money that comes from people they call angel investors. These are people that are accomplished in various spheres of human endeavor, but they just want to support the next generation of entrepreneurs, So somebody like a Bill Gates, somebody like an Aliko Dangote in Nigeria, they have become angel investors to a large number of SMEs. So some people may want to support your business in that way. You may also be able to access money from financial institutions, but I will ask you, please be careful. Do not take a loan at an interest rate that is beyond your capacity. So when you are looking to borrow money, start with a review of your own capacity. What I mean by capacity is your cash flows. So it may not be a bad idea to look for an accountant. There are a lot of people that can provide accounting services on an outsourced basis. So it will not cost you an arm and a leg, but they will guide you and advise you to say this 20 million naira loan you want to take at an interest rate of 25%, your business's cash flows cannot support this. So maybe you want to look for a different funding source, right? So financial resources are critical. The fourth critical or essential phrase or word in our definition of strategy is the environment. In our definition, it was referred to as a challenging environment. So even in the definition of strategy, it has become clear that there is a recognition also that businesses will typically operate in an environment that is challenging from time to time. For those who are listening to me, who are citizens of this great country, Nigeria, we are not new to a challenging operating environment. So if you look at the macro economy, so what I'm trying to say is this: understand your environment, because your environment will have a direct impact on the kind of strategy that you will need to formulate to survive within that environment. So what are the critical things to look at inside of the macro environment? You must understand the interest rate regime in your country. You must understand the exchange rate regime. In this country, Nigeria, our national currency is always under threat of a devaluation. So a devaluation simply means your national currency loses value when measured against convertible currencies such as the United States dollars. Remember that we are largely an import-dependent economy. We import petrol into Nigeria. We import machinery and equipment and all manner of raw materials. So you know that if our currency loses value, it means that those imported raw materials, it means those imported machinery and equipment will become more expensive. It means that our cost of doing business has increased. It means that our profits have come under pressure. Some businesses have not survived a devaluation. So it's important for you to understand what are the factors that will drive an devaluation. Because 90% of our foreign exchange income comes from the sale of crude oil, it means that you as an entrepreneur operating within Nigeria must always be monitoring crude oil prices. If crude oil prices start to drop, it means, ladies and gentlemen, that a devaluation is in the offing. So you need to start recalibrating your businesses to say, okay, in the era of possible devaluation risk, how can I mitigate some of those risks? Should I change my business model and have some part of my business that involves exporting, so that if I am exporting, it means I am earning dollars. If I am earning dollars and there is a devaluation of the naira, I will gain, because the dollar in my hand that used to be worth 300 naira is now worth 400 naira today. So you have gained 100 naira. So diversify your business. That is one of the ways you can manage or mitigate an environmental risk such as devaluation of the currency. Where I'm going to, ladies and gentlemen, is that it is important you understand the drivers of the economy, the drivers of the macro economy, so that you can take preemptive steps to protect your business. So interest rates I spoke about, exchange rate I spoke about, inflation is also another measure that you must always pay close attention to, because inflation erodes the disposable income in the pockets of your customers. It means that they have less money in their pocket. It means that their spending capacity has reduced. If their spending capacity has reduced, then it's very likely they may not be able, even though they are willing, to buy what it is that you are selling. So there are several things in the environment, and I urge you to please pay close attention to environmental factors. There is a lot of information that is freely available on websites, on over the internet, about the macro situation in Nigeria or any other country for that matter. The sixth critical word or phrase, and I'll move very quickly, is market. All I'm simply saying here is understand your target market. Define who your target market is. Ladies and gentlemen, your target market cannot be everybody, because it is not everybody that will understand or appreciate or have the capacity to pay for whatever it is you are selling. Those three things I have just mentioned are the definition of your target market. They must understand what you are selling. They must appreciate what you are selling. They must have the financial capacity to buy whatever price, at whatever price you put your product and service. And also, they must be a large enough subsector to keep you in business over the long term. Remember, we spoke about long term earlier. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You must have defined a market that will remain with you 10 years down the line, because you are consistently delivering the highest quality product and the highest quality services. The next one, and the very final one, is stakeholder expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, you are stakeholders in your business. You put in the equity, you put in the time, you put in the effort and the sacrifice. You are a critical stakeholder. Your employees are critical stakeholders. Your customers are critical stakeholders. The community in which you operate are also stakeholders. So you must come up with a way of balancing the interest of all of these stakeholder groups. Do not satisfy one to the detriment of the other. Look after your employees so that they can give you consistent high quality output. Look after your customers so that they become loyal to you and remain with you for years and decades, and so on and so forth. Let your business impact on your community. It is not enough for you to have a profit maximization objective. Ladies and gentlemen, businesses must now be looking for ways to impact on community. If your business is impacting on community consistently and over the long term, guess what? That business will become sustainable. 100 years from today, the community will still be supporting that business, because the business has consistently supported itself, and finally itself as a community. And finally, shareholders, you sacrificed your money, you sacrificed your energy and your intellect and your talent, you deserve a profitable return. So there must be a way to measure your return on investment. And if your business is consistently not meeting that target, then it means that there is something that is wrong, or there is something that needs to be recalibrated. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We have concluded our very first session on strategy. See you in session 2.